Hi everyone, I hope you all are doing well. As most of you all think or you find that John Keats' Ode to Nightingale as a little bit hard poem in comparison to other poems, I just thought of discussing one context question based on that. So I have selected the stanza number 7. So we'll discuss the main points related to that, and you all know Ode to Nightingale. It's an ode. Ode we call ode as a ode means a fully dressed poem, like as if you are going for a wedding, you dress nicely, beautifully dressed. So ode is a poem of appreciation. It's full of appreciation. You find the poem as full of appreciation. Discussing the beauty of something, appreciating the beauty of something. So, John Keats wanted to appreciate the beauty of the song of the nightingale. And also, we call ode as a ceremonious poem. Ode means a ceremonious poem, celebrating the beauty, ceremonious poem, like that. So, John Keats, he was like. He belongs to romantic era poetry, and he suffered from tuberculosis, and also he was like he was with full of pain. Then you all know romanticism was a movement in literature, and most of the romantic poets wanted to escape from reality. And even John Keats, he too, through his poetry, he tried to escape from reality. He tried his best to escape from reality. He wanted to be away from the pain. So his poem Ode to Nightingale is also, he appreciated the song, the beauty of the song of the nightingale, while making a plan to leave to the world of the nightingale and to forget all his pains. But we call John Keats as a balanced poet, so then you find that his poem goes in a circular movement. He appreciates, but at a point he understands this is not reality. Supernatural cannot cheat me more. So he came back to the point where he started. So from this session, I thought of discussing some points related to a context answer. The stanza number 7. Let's read it out first. Thou wast not born for death, immortal bird. No hungry generations treat thee down. The voice I hear this passing night was heard in ancient days by emperor and clown. Perhaps the self same song that found a path through the sad heart of Ruth when sick for home. She stood in tears amid the alien corn, the same that oft times hath charmed magic, seasons, opening on the foam of perilous seas in fairy lands forlorn. So, here the nightingale, the poet wants to emphasize the fact that as you are immortal, the bird is, he considered the bird as an immortal bird. So he emphasizes the fact that as the bird is immortal, enter into your world, which is a world of imagination, and die is not acceptable. Even the artistic human work also have the immortal quality. So he, while highlighting that idea, then he further you can say the poetess struggles with the idea of death, and at the same time he tries to accept the fact that enter to the world of nightingale, that means entering into a world of imagination and die there. So he says, like, you are an immortal bird, you are not born for death. So he recalls how the voice of the nightingale, which means a voice of imagination, how it continues to exist in his mind. And also he introduces a biblical character, Ruth. She was a woman from belonged to a tribe alien to Israel. So there's a story related to her. Then she was homesick and her husband was dead, and then the poet imagines that Ruth too would have sung when she was homesick. She too would have sung such a melancholic song like the Nightingale. When sick for home, she stood in tears amid the alien corn. So thus the poet emphasizes, or he appreciates the immortality, the immortal quality can be seen in the human imagination as well. Even in human poetry, human artistic work we can find the same imagination, same immortal quality. So you can say that Keats moves from his awareness of his own mortality in this stanza to the preparation to prepare to consider, or to prepare to talk about the immortality of the bird. So on a literal level, you can say his perception is the way his perception is wrong. The bird will die, or it's a questionable. Does the bird symbolize the ideal beauty, which is immortal? It's a question. And also the nightingale, he emphasizes what the nightingale is not born for death, in the sense that unlike the human beings, unlike us, it doesn't know it's the nightingale is an immortal. The immortal quality is there in nightingale's song. The poet contrasts the bird singing and immunity from death and suffering with human beings, that the death and suffering that undergoes the human beings, that is highlighted with the idea of hungry generations. Then the stanza begins in the poet's using present tense. You find the verbs in present tense. Keats then makes 3 references to the bird singing in the past. The first to emperor and clown is general and presumably in a historical past, and the other 2 are specific, one from the Old Testament, the other from the form from fairy tales. So the past becomes a more remote ending with non-human past, and he explains about fairyland, so in which he highlights that no human being is present there. So some aspects of human life. So then he discusses about the mixed nature of reality that manifests itself in his imagination, the bird's joyous song been heard by in the past, and the series of images such as emperor, clown, and the story of Ruth, which is a song, which is a story of unhappy song. Then in the third image where he said the charmed magic or the fairy forlorn, and sees perilous forlorn. So the perilous would the word perilous would not ordinarily be associated with the magic or enchantment. These words hint at the pain that the poet undergoes. Because as I mentioned earlier, the poet tries to escape. He wanted to escape from reality. Then how he tries to escape from reality. So that is the stanza number 7, and you can further see then in other stanzas how he attempts and how he approaches his main target. Keats odes, mostly you find his odes as balanced ones. Sometimes like if you take a poet like Shelley, he too wrote odes. Then his odes just go upward, vertically up, like it seems like appreciating. But Keats, he appreciates and appreciates, but at a time he stops that and he comes back to the point where he starts. So that's the difference. That's why we call him as a balanced poet. Even as an essay question, you might get a question like, why do we call, or do you call Keats as a balanced poet? Why? Then you have to justify your answer with reference to the poem Ode to Nightingale. Then what characteristics of romantic era you find in John Keats' Ode to Nightingale? So you find out some characteristics of romantic era or romanticism, then you can compare them, you can apply them to Keats's ode and see. And also, if you do further study on Keats' poetry, you can go through the other odes he wrote: Ode to a Grecian Urn, what else? Ode to Autumn. So you can just take a look at them and have an idea. You can have an in-depth idea about Keats' writing. So do that as well if you do literature further. Even if you are doing even if you do literature only for your A-levels, it's better if you can have an idea, a broad idea about Keats' writing and Keats' poetry. So that's all. If you have any question, you can write that under the comment section. So let's meet once again with another video. Bye.